Hi there, my name's Harkday and I'm the priestess of Brigantia. I've just been on one of the bestest holidays, retreats, whatever you like to call it, over in Glastonbury. It was amazing. It was an amazing time. But you know, with our spiritual walk and our spiritual everything, we always get to learn more, don't we? All the time, we get to learn more and more. And yeah, whilst I was there, I met a group of an amazing priestesses from the Netherlands. They were from Holland and they were on their spiral training. And they were all from different levels, from initiation right the way through to going through their third spiral, and it was just amazing to see them. But anyway, we were chatting and spent some time with them, which was great. And I got to went to the White Well, which is an amazing place. I use amazing a lot, by the way. And I didn't think that it was kind of moved me or teach me as much as it did. And whilst I was there and I bathed in its waters and I sought the goddess and I sought after Cananus, and I've worked with Cananus a lot, and but there at the well, at the springs, I actually felt a real connection with the Lord of the Forest, and the Lady of the Woods, and the springs really showed me who I am and the direction that I need to go in. I can't say a lot more about it really, other than the springs are absolutely freezing and it took my breath away. But I had confirmation that I'm on the right path. So anyway, I came away from there with a real sense of belonging to Avalon. I can't explain it. It's amazing. And whilst I was there, I visited the goddess temple, and I got them to. I bought a candle from them, and which they gave me their blessings, and that was lovely. That was just a beautiful experience. But nothing, and I mean nothing, will compare to my experience in the White Well. I call them the Goddess Springs or the Goddess Well. It was just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So anyway, I came away from there, and I wanted to build something that kind of reminded me of my time. And I like to build altars that are living. And let's face it, our gods and our goddesses, they're living, you know, in everything that we see. You know, the spirit of place, the spirit of, and the energies of the plants and the trees and streams and the air that we breathe is all part of who we are. And through everything we hear everything. So I like to build altars to depict that. So I've actually been working, or in my brain, I've been working on wanting to build something with mosses, and I think today is the day when I'm going to do that. So here's some of the moss that I've actually been growing, and it's nice and lush and beautifully gorgeous. I've got loads of slate here, and this is slate from all over the place. So I've got slate from my garden, because my garden has a lot of slating anyway. But this slate here is from Wales, and I've got a couple of other bits. A couple of bits are from Scotland as well. So I've been working with this little goddess for a little while. I like handmade things, and I think it's really important that we have handmade whatever it is, whether it's handmade by us or by somebody else to use within our spiritual journey and our spiritual paths. And she is just beautiful. I believe she's from Africa, but she is just beautiful, and I love her. So let's begin building my altar, and like I said, this is a dedication to my path, really, that I'm really going to be focusing on more and more and more. I've had some amazing um, visions just of late of things that I need to be doing. It's also nearly the full moon. The full moon is tomorrow, and I think it's perfectly fitting to be building something like this now, ready for the full moon. And whilst she's nearly at full power, so she's ready and ready to go. So let's start, shall we? So here we are. I'm going to build it in the same tray I've been growing in my moss in. This is just a tray. Maybe you would put a bonsai in or anything like that. I'm going to wet down the moss because I don't want the moss to dry out whilst I'm preparing. Do forgive me if I sniff a little bit whilst because I've got a bit of a cold, which is a bit annoying, but there's not a lot I can do about that. So there's several things that we've got to do. Is I've got to make more soil, obviously, to build this up, and I want to build it so it looks like a bit more like Glastonbury tour. And I've got to go and get the candle, which I've forgotten to get the candle. So yeah, so you might have noticed the candles appeared. I needed to go and get that. I've got to bring it here. So yeah, that's the candle I got from the goddess temple with their blessing lit in the top. So so what I want to do is create this this little altar in the shape or kind of resemblance to Glastonbury tour. And so what I need to do is, I've already wet it, as you saw me do earlier, and so I need to take that out now. One of the things about mosses is they actually really don't like drying out at all. So, I mean, if they do dry out, they do come back, but the great thing about moss is it looks beautiful, doesn't it, when it's all green and lush and resemblance the forest floor, you know. So there we have Cananis in there, we have Ellen of the Ways in there, we have the pure earth and Mother Earth in there, and that is just beautiful to be able to work with. So there we are. I've just got some old earth in there. I'm going to leave that in there now. And before I start, I'm just going to clear the air and clear the energies, and I might do this as I'm working along with each different section. So the first thing I need to do, obviously, is put some more soil in. Now I've got some. This is just houseplant potting mix. It's just normal. To be honest with you, houseplant potting mix is just normal everyday compost, and it has a little bit more, usually perlite in it. This one's got and this one's got seaweed in as well, some gypsum, some basalt rock dust, and just basically it's all just stuff that will carry on feeding the plants that are going on, but we don't need to worry about that too much because mosses don't actually need a lot of feeding. Don't get me wrong, they like a bit of food, don't we all? But with the perlite in that mixture, what it actually does is it gives a lot of drainage, which is good, but also moss likes it to stay damp. It doesn't like being wet. It doesn't like being like overly run with water, but it does like to stay damp. So what I've got here, well, is, and you'll not believe this when I say this, is cat litter. Yep, you heard me right. It's just ordinary cat litter. Now the cat litter I'm using is this one. It's just high performance cat litter. Now cat litter, a lot of people don't know this, is just clay. That's all it is. And this particular one is bentonite clay, or bentonite, that's it, bentonite clay. Now bentonite clay is brilliant because it's inert, it doesn't have any kind of chemical additions to it, and also it won't change the properties of the soil that we've got in here. We want it to stay fairly neutral, and that's what the bentonite does. But even more importantly with bentonite, and it's one of the reasons why cat litter is made out of it, is it retains moisture. So it's absolutely brilliant for things that actually really enjoy a wet or damp environment, like mosses. And also when you mix bentonite, cat litter, with soil and it gets wet and you put enough in there, you can start sculpting soil with it, which is amazing. But anyway, obviously cat litter comes really kind of globulized, and what I've done is I've just taken a lot of it and I've ground it up in a pestle and mortar, and as you can see it's kind of a fine dust, and I'm just going to put a canny bit in there, quite a bit, probably 1/3 cat litter to, let's damp that down a bit, because that soil and everything's going everywhere. So yeah, it's 1/3. I've done about 1/3. I might need to put some more soil in there. Oh, my things come off. It's hard to see, but can you see the cat litter's doing its thing? I don't know if you can in there, but it is kind of doing its thing. So let's mix that all up. Obviously I'm going to need some more soil in there, and probably some more bentonite. Let's have a look. That's going to be there. So what I'm going to be doing is going to be making a hill up here for my goddess to sit on, and then the priestess temple candle will be sat at the back behind it, and I think it's going to look absolutely spectacular when it's finished. So I need a bit more soil in there. What I might do is use the slate underneath, a bit more soil, a bit more bentonite. There you go, that's good. Yeah, that looks better. So what I'll do is I'll put the slate on the bottom underneath it, because that will actually raise it up, because you don't need a lot of soil with mosses. So wet that again, because again that's still too dry to work with. It'll be falling about everywhere. Go away, plane. Cool. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Now I actually think I want this piece for the top, maybe, because I want that obviously, and then was it Glastonbury tour, or the Daughter of Avalon? It's kind of shaped like that, isn't it? If you don't know, it's kind of shaped like that, and then it has like a hard up bit on the back, which a lot of people go up, which I actually went up when I went up the tour. I went up the steep bit. It got the long walk over and done with. And there's also the priestess route that goes around that way, so which is lovely and easier than actually doing the 3/4 of a mile or whatever it is up the tour. Yeah, so let's have a look at some of these pieces. That's a really huge piece. Maybe that piece would be good there. Yeah, maybe that piece would be actually really good in there. So let's build that up, because I don't want loads of soil underneath. No, I'm going to stick with my original plan, I think. Definitely, I need to make sure there's room at the back for the candle, which there is. So I need some more soil in there, don't I? Let's build up the sides. So I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'm just moving the soil around and putting more slate in the sides. Now this slate is great stuff. This is actually quite porous, this slate, but slate stays quite damp for a long time. Even the more non-porous stuff. Once it gets wet, it gets wet, and of course that will help to keep the soil damp anyway, as well. So it looks like I am going to need a bit more soil in there, because that's looking great, because the tour is kind of shaped like that. So yeah, let's add some more slate, because I need to make a platform at the back for the candle anyway. So let's do that. Oh, that piece doesn't fit. Will that piece fit? No, that piece doesn't fit. That's too big. Perhaps I should have sorted all my bits and bobs out to start with, eh? Perhaps. Yeah. That might have been a good idea. No. Let's just add loads. So this is just loads of slate and stones, just to fill in the back area. And I'm going to cover that up with soil anyway. So that's great. That looks marvellous. Let's put that with the bentonite underneath so that it stands straighter. Let's put it that way round. Cool. Okay. So we obviously need some more soil in there. Let's drag some of that up from the front. So the great thing about these things is you don't need to be too precise at all. The important thing is when you're building live altars like this, is that it's your intentions are going into it, and weaving your intentions and your ideas and what you're wanting to do and the purpose of the altar itself. That is the most important thing with anything that you build for your own personal spiritual path. So let's try that. Let's see how much soil that has given me by covering that up. Fantastic. Okay. So I'm going to need some more some more soil. There you go. Like I said, this is just normal house potting compost, and I'm going to put some more ground bentonite in there. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at that. Is that looking good? Let's turn it around. Yeah, I think that that's looking pretty spectacular now. So there you go. But you're saying, Harkate, that doesn't look like much. I can't use that to worship with. I can't use that to commune with the goddess or anything. It's like, well, you forget we've still got all this moss here yet. Now, I've also got, around the outskirts of Glastonbury Tor, there are trees. Lots and lots of trees. So, I mean, this is looking great at the moment, I think. And turn that piece over. See if I can get that to stand a bit flatter. There you go. That's perfect. Is my candle going to stand straight on there? Nearly. So I'm just going to build up the little platform until the candle stands fairly straight. Yeah, so the other night when I came home, I had a bit of a vision to build this and to remind me of my journey that the goddess has asked me to take. Well, she hasn't asked me as such. What she's done is reminded me that that's my purpose on life, to be a priestess in this world, priestess of light and love. Right, so this is what we have at the moment. So this is kind of like a Glastonbury Tor shape, kinda. It's a lot longer, but my bowl and my candle needs to sit. I could sit my candle a bit further back actually, which means I can make the Tor a little bit longer. Ah, that's better, isn't it? Don't need that stone there, I don't think. And there you have it. So, there you have it so far. Okay, so I think that's a good spot to do the next bit. So I'm just going to damp all this down again. Okay, so that's that so far. Now, it has trees going around the outside of it, as I was saying. So I've got a sedum here, which kind of looks like a tree. Kind of. Great thing about sedums is they like a bit of moisture, but you can actually, they don't mind being dried out or anything, and they don't need much soil to actually grow in at all. And they're the easiest things to actually grow on. So all we need to do is just pinch out a piece. There you go. And there's no roots on that at all. Not at all. And all we start doing is just start placing that in the soil, and there you go. Believe me, this will just keep on growing. Sedums are amazing things for planting up for things like this, because they're really easy to propagate and to just keep on growing, and little maintenance, which is really good as well for something like this, I think. So, but you've got to remember that all these plants can grow as big as this, but to keep it nice and small, you can just keep on trimming them off and make new plants all the time with it, so, which is really good and easy. This one has got broken off and it looks like it's dying, but look at all there's loads of little new babies growing already on it. So I'll put that one somewhere near the back. I'm gonna put this sedum all the way around this, actually. I didn't think that's what I was going to do, but I am going to just, and literally all I'm doing is making a little bit of a hole and sticking it in, literally. Don't need to be too worried or too precise about it. And what will happen is these will grow, and where we've taken all of these off, this little bush will double in size, and by the time next year this will be like out here somewhere, be massive, same as this probably. So I'm going to put got another couple of bits, and I'm just going to stick in there. I'm going to leave the back of it, I'm not going to put any in the back. I'm just going to, there. I think that's looking pretty already, isn't it? Shall I put another one in there? Yeah, I've got a bit of a gap. Let's move that over. Put one more. Another one more. Oh, there's a big piece overhanging there. Let's use that piece. Oh, that's got roots on it too. Cool. Look at that. Look how that's starting to take shape already. It's nice and easy. So let's build this tour up a little bit more, I think. Now we don't need to worry about too much about the look at the bottom, because the moss is going to go in there anyway. But we do want the bentonite to be fully mixed in there. We don't want any clumpy bits, because that's what will happen. It will completely, can you see? The bentonite has made it more clayey, which is exactly what we want. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. So, because this is already growing in great big clumps already, I'm actually gonna, oh, there's a piece just growing through there. Huh, stick that in there. There, that's the first piece. Now this is slightly different moss, this one. I've got 2 or 3 types of moss in here, and I wish I could tell you what mosses were which, but I can't, unfortunately. So let's, if you have any gaps, by the way, the moss will fill them, as long as you don't let the moss dry out. In fact, I'm going to take that piece out. I'm going to put this one in, because this is the same moss. There you go. And this is actually the same moss. Fill in that gap there as well. Beautiful. And now what we got. So I'm very lucky where I live. We have a lot of moss naturally growing. But when I do take moss, I always ask permission from the owners, but I also ask for permission from the forest itself. At the end of the day, that's a goddess's path. It's to understand and work with nature and the different elements that are, and the different elements that we work with, and to be respectful. At the end of the day, it's all about being respectful as well. So there you go. So that's what I've got so far. And that looks beautiful. So what we do now is I'm actually just going to take the lid off this, and I shall clean off the rock at the top and just water the moss, make sure that it's pretty wet, and hopefully it's going to squish it down, and that should take in there quite nicely. So this is what we've got so far. There you go. And the back, that looks pretty, doesn't it? So I'm just going to break that piece off. That was easy. So I now have the platform for my candle. Now do I put in, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put in, I've got some spaces down the back here, and that are like, there's an orchard at the back of Glastonbury, and I think to represent the orchard I'm going to use a different type of sedum, which is this one here. So this sedum's been out in the sun and it's gone like this beautiful red colour, but if you grow them indoors they stay like a deep green with an edge trimmed around the outside. So just had a cat try to walk in the door whilst it was open. So and again, this is the same as the other sedums. You don't need to worry about roots, but actually these ones have like little aerial roots, and these actually literally just grow on concrete. They don't even need soil most of the time, and so all I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back quite deep on this one and just pull it off. But can you see how lush those leaves are? They're like a succulent, aren't they? And so I'm actually just going to pop that in there. I'm going to put it underneath the soil. Let's get another piece. Oh, that one's got lots of roots on it as well. Let's put that under the stone just there. And let's get another piece. Have I got, look, I'm going to get some more. I've got another one of these. Yes, I've got another one. And this, as I said, I'm doing these to represent the Orchard of Avalon that grows at the bottom of the tor, right at the back of the tor. Most people won't even know it's there. And again, I'm just gonna put that underneath that stone. And is there another one? Yep, I'm going to take that piece as well that has a little bit of root on it. And put that in there too. Give it a bit of water in a minute when I've gone and got some. So there you go. So now I've got the orchard at the back as well. And so literally the last thing that I need to do, oh, I love it when just noticed, I love it when slate gets wet because it just stays damp for ages and ages and ages. And if you notice, a lot of mosses actually grow over the top of slates, and that's the reason why. It's because they're damp and they can get enough moisture from that. So that's beautiful. Let's pop my little goddess on the top, and my goddess temple candle. Sorry about that, my camera decided to shut down because it said I'm getting too hot. So, but what I was actually sort of saying was, you know, whilst we're walking on our spiritual paths, it doesn't matter what spiritual path we're in, we have to be reactionary. We have to, I don't mean that in a negative way at all, but we have to act on how we feel and what we're thinking, because it's the only way we can learn and we can perceive about what the right path for us is, and we kind of learn off the back of that. So that's what I would suggest. Like, the reason why I made this was it was my way of remembering all the great things that I learnt at Avalon and the goddess taught me whilst I was there and brought back. So this, every time I burn this candle, I will see Avalon tour. I will remember the orchard at the back. I will remember the fruitfulness that that gives. I will remember the walk up to the top. That, you know, no journey is easy, but the reward once you get to the top was a massive view. It's a view that was expansive, and it's a bit like my path that I take. It's pretty expansive every time I have a new vision, or I have a new feeling, or I hear something new. It's a new, not a new direction, but it's an expansive expression of myself. So anyway, I hope you like this video. I will show the last bits of it all set up. I'll probably have a couple of incense sticks pointing out of here as well. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Harkate, and I'm a priestess of Brigantia. So long, and bright blessings to you all.